What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Wow, listen, this is going to be a video that I don't know where this is going to go because I'm kind of pissed off. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of revved up a little bit. We have to start at the beginning. I always start a video and I'm like, and then I got to back up for a second. I just want to kind of launch into it, but you got to give some kind of background or else it just sounds fucking stupid. So the background is 10 years ago I started doing social media. Actually, before that with MySpace and shit, but really about 10, 11 years ago is when I really started doing social media, which it started taking off with Facebook, of course, and then moved to 2010, I was doing YouTube, which is what we're on, obviously, right now. You're watching this on. And I explained back then that the hormonal manipulation through food was a real thing, and not all calories are created the same. They're not all equal. And I got a lot of pushback from people like Lane Norton, for one, and I use his name a lot because he's changed a lot throughout the years. I've seen a big change in Lane from 10 years ago to now, right? So from Lane Norton and other science-based individuals who was like Ian McCarthy, even the Hodge twins for a while were pushing the caloric thing. And I think many of you here, actually many of you watching this actually do understand the fact that manipulating macros over calories actually really does get you better results than just the calories, and actually really does boil down to the macros and not necessarily the calories, because we're not talking about weight loss. We're talking about fat loss and muscle gain. It's not just weight loss, meaning the size of your body comes down. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I mean, you can get weight loss by pissing out 3 pounds. I mean, weight doesn't mean anything on the scale. It's whether you want body fat or whether you want muscle body fat, water, whatever the case may be. And I preached up and down. I was like, it doesn't fucking matter the calories. Like, you could have 2,000 calories in your diet, and if you ate all carbohydrates, you're hitting your calories, but you're not going to maintain your fucking muscle mass. And they preached up and down, Jerry, it's calories, caloric deficit, caloric surplus. I heard deficit and surplus so much it made me want to fucking throw up. And I went, are you covering your protein requirements? And people are like, well, my calories. I'm like, are you covering your protein requirements? Are you covering your carbohydrate requirements? They're like, well, what I do is I calculate my calories. I'm like, fuck me running sideways with a goat. Like, this is ridiculous, right? Now, 10 years later, Lane Norton comes out with a video last week. Calories are not necessarily all equal, and he has this like beat around the bush thing. And he's like, you have to hit your protein requirements and your fiber requirements. Newsflash, there are fucking essential fatty acid requirements too. All right, now I was ahead of the curve back then because I understood this shit. And if Lane and these other guys understood it back then 10 years ago, they would have said it like they are now. The problem is they're just coming around to figuring this shit out now, because back then they would have been like, Lane and all those other guys, let's be real, they love to push in your face how much they know, how right they are, how they know everything about everything. They all, you know, they start pulling out the big words, and they used to make fun of me, demean me, call me names. I mean, it got pretty fucking heated before, but the bottom line is the things I was saying nobody knew about, and I shouldn't say nobody, but these calorie people, these science-based calorie people didn't know about back then. They didn't believe it. However, now, in 2020, yet again, another one of these things that I was on top of back then, that these motherfuckers come now, and they're like, oh, well, you have to get your protein and fiber requirements. And I'm like, well, first of all, I was the one that said you couldn't just fucking do calories back in the fucking day. You needed to know how to fuel your body and replenish it properly. You needed to nourish your body properly, protein-wise, essential fatty acid-wise, and carbohydrates based on what you're doing activity-wise throughout that day, okay? And also based on whether you're carb cycling, though all those things change, right? So if you count your calories, you then have to figure those things out. You then have to divide by this percentage. How do you know the percentages? There's all these different formulas that give you different percentages. Will fuck your macros out. However, if you go directly to the macros and say fuck calories, and you go, all right, my body weight is this, my muscle mass is this, it takes this much protein required to maintain that muscle mass, there's my protein. Times that times 4, there's the calories of protein you need per day. Very simple. Right? And then you go, this is what I need carbohydrate-wise, times 4. Boom, there's your calories for carbohydrates. This is what I need essential fatty acids. Boom, multiply that times 9. There's your fucking fat calories. Now your calories are automatically locked in place. You didn't have to reverse engineer them with weird percents and shit to try to hope that you possibly get them right that actually nourish your body. So hitting the macros or figuring out the macros and hitting those will automatically take care of the calories. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to know what a single fucking calorie is if you count those macros. The calories are already embedded in those fucking foods. So you hit the macros, the calories automatically fall into place. It's an easier way than doing it the way that these people were preaching it. They were trying to make it seem easier because it was all about calories. They weren't even paying attention, or they were paying attention to macros, but they didn't even understand how manipulating those fucking macros manipulate the hormones, which it doesn't matter about calories. I've seen people in Alan Aragon. I got to put him at the front of this because this guy all along has been kind of ahead of the other science people. He said straight out, we have talked, and he said, I have seen people in a deficit gain fat. I have seen people in a surplus not be able to gain muscle. because I've seen both. So there is a phenomenon happening. It hasn't been studied. We're not sure, but it's not just all about the calories. Alan was the one saying that to me back a couple years ago and even recently. So, but all these other motherfuckers, now they're catching up. So Alan puts out a thing today, which he's right on the same page now as, Lane and those guys. And he says, first and foremost, a caloric surplus for muscle gain must be built on a foundation of sufficient daily protein and energy intake. That is not what these guys were saying 10 years ago. They were like, you have to eat more. You have to go 200 calories or 500 calories above your maintenance. They never said anything about protein, fiber, none of that shit. They never said a fucking word. It was all about calories. And they fucking went out there and like, I ain't have a degree and I'm fucking science guy and I read studies and I can tell you this, but they didn't understand that those protein needs need to be met, but they're not even talking about, it's talking about energy, sufficient energy intake. We're not talking about fat for energy. We're talking about fat for fat-soluble vitamins to make the hormones that your body obviously needs to make your body do what it wants to do. Fat, essential fatty acids and cortisol, cholesterol are the basis of those hormones. So if you don't have those essential fatty acids, which are just as important to protein, but they're not onto that yet. Give them time, they'll catch up, right? It says, in general, for optimizing high-intensity fueling requirements of a progressive resistance training, an energy surplus should be centered around high carbohydrate intakes. Well, what's high, right? Like, that's the thing I'm saying. You guys generalize everything so much. What's high? To me, high, 250, 300 grams for me is high. For another person, it's 400 grams. So, like, nothing is actually based on individuals. It's based on this general thing that they throw it out there. And it's like, yeah, but you know the basics. You're not fucking saying the things that I'm saying. I'm getting so much more in-depth about these things, trying to help people actually do it, where all you do is give them information, confuse the fuck out of them. Then they're in the forums or online. They don't know what the fuck is going on. It says, however, increased proportions of protein can be used depending on how cautiously one wants to court the potential for concurrent fat gain. Meaning if you don't want to gain fat at the same time you're gaining muscle, you can adjust the protein, meaning maybe you take in less carbs and increase the protein. That's what I fucking said 10 years ago that you motherfucker science people made fun of me for. Now you assholes, and I gotta fucking step up, and I'm sorry that I'm calling you names, but you deserve it. You motherfuckers will look at other people and look down your nose at them like you're fucking so much better than everyone else, and you're so much further behind fucking half the bros, it's fucking ridiculous. It says, more advanced trainees closer to their potential have less room for surplus energy in partitioning into lean tissue, and thus may choose to use protein-focused surpluses. Regardless of training status, individuals cautiously avoiding fat gain may also benefit from this tactic. Now you're breaking it down to advanced trainees, and now you're talking about increasing protein and decreasing carbs to not... Wait a minute. If you keep your protein down, or if you bring your carbs down, increase your protein, aren't your calories the same? Yeah, well, according to you guys, calories is what makes you fat. Cutting calories is what makes you lean. Now you're telling me if you raise the protein and cut your carbs, your calories are the same, but you're not going to put on as much fat. That's what I fucking said. You guys could not comprehend that 10 years ago. So where the fuck did you guys come from? I'll tell you where you came from. You started seeing the shit that I was talking about 10 years ago because, let's be real, 30 fucking years I've been in this business training people. 30 fucking years. Many of you that are out there talking shit, I got 10 years on you. That's a long fucking time. I have seen shit between me, my friends, and fucking my clients that no science can explain. And we have all racked our fucking brains, and all you science people do is sit back like that. Ha ha ha, Jerry's so fucking stupid. 10 years later, hey, what Jerry said is fucking right. It is so fucking frustrating. You know how many people, when I put those videos out, could have been helped. If you assholes were on the same page and explained it to them then like you are now, you literally have held people back consciously by putting out your bullshit about calories only for fucking years, a fucking decade before you guys figured it out. Before you guys actually pulled your heads out of your asses and actually said, hey, there's something I don't understand. I'm going to fucking read it. Oh my God, there's research that says this. This is real. Well, Jerry Ward has fucking been saying that. I'm talking to myself in third person over here. Because that old Jerry's way, I'm a different guy now. But anyways, bottom line is, guys, the shit that I preach for so long, these motherfuckers are catching up to. So don't count the bros out, okay? Don't count the bros out. The bros are always 10, 15, even 20 years ahead of these science fucks. And I'm sorry. I'm so fucking riled up about this shit because it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's a fucking ego thing. I sat there and took my fucking licks and kept my mouth shut and I just put out content. I fought with them. They laughed at me even though I put the evidence right in their face. I said, can you eat only fats, 3,000 calories if that's your maintenance? Can you eat only fats and maintain your muscle mass and lose body fat? And they wouldn't even say yes or no. They go, well, it's all about the calories. If you eat only fat, then fucking do it. I'm sick of you fucks sitting out there talking about, well, calories, then do it. Not one of those fucking science people, Lane Norton or any of them, said I'm going to eat only carbohydrate diet for fucking 12 weeks and see where my body fat ends up and how my body is. Not one of those fucks said I'm going to eat only fats. I'm just going to eat oil and fucking fats and just saturated fat and butter. I'm going to eat that only for 12 weeks and let's see how my body fucking changes. Not one of them ever said that and they ever tried it. I told them over again, I said, go ahead, eat Twizzlers only for fucking 12 weeks. Twizzlers, gummies, bears, and Pop-Tarts. Do that for 12 weeks. Let's see how your body changes. Not one of them would take me up on the fucking offer. And here we are, full circle again, another one of these fucking things where I said this is how it works. And I don't have any science degree. I don't have a PhD. I got a fucking high school diploma. That's it. But I was fucking right. And it pisses me off because so many fucking people could be so much further ahead than they are right now if they had fucking listened to what I said. Now, those people that didn't fucking get the right information from those fucking whack jobs back then are now getting the information and are applying it 10 years later. You're 10 years behind where you could have had your ultimate physique. You're 10 years behind where you could have been. Why the fuck? That's why I get pissed. I'm like, look, I want fucking results in this amount of time, not this amount of time. You motherfuckers will go this. You're even extended it fucking like to a mile long to get results. Fucking 10 years, 15 years. What? You could have got the same results in 10 years? In less than a fucking year. If you had paid attention to what I was saying back then. Now the information's out there. Now people will pay attention, but I'm not going to let this fucking shit go. Fuck that. It's not about being a right or wrong. It's about you motherfuckers not really being out there helping people, the science people. Not really helping people. What you're out there doing is pushing regurgitated shit that you read online or you read studies about that you don't really fucking understand. You might understand every nuance of the body. However, you only know what science has studied and told you that can happen. You only know what you're being told. You are afraid to go out there and experiment with things and try new things, new techniques, new diet techniques, or whatever the case may be to see what might be able to possibly happen. You're too scared to do that. You live inside your little fucking box. Meanwhile, the bros are out there experimenting, finding all these fucking ways, getting all these great results. And then you motherfuckers come up 10 years later and go, oh yeah, the collagen thing is another thing. Collagen is fucking everywhere. I was the first motherfucker to put that in play in sports nutrition. I talked about it before it fucking hit the market. I said, if you go back and look at the videos, that motherfucker will be one of the biggest supplements of all time because it's the second most abundant nutrient in our body after water. We need it. Why the fuck does nobody put in this their supplements? People wouldn't fucking listen. The essential amino acid thing, I said the same fucking thing. Essential aminos over branched chains. Nobody listened. Where are we today in 2020? Everybody's using essential amino acids because they understand now. And I don't mind taking the fucking hits. What really pisses me off is the people that fucking suffer because they're listening to the wrong fucking people. And I'm not saying I'm the right person. What I'm saying is what I'm fucking speaking from is not science. It's from logic, it's from reason, it's from actual experimentation that can be replicated. If it can be replicated, that means it works. It doesn't need a paper or a science person or a lab coat to say it works. Because now here we are, 2020, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this is how this shit works. I'm like, fuck me running sideways with a goat on a bike. It's fucking aggravating. So hopefully you guys, those of you that fucking listened, understand. And hopefully you're pissed off too. Because fucking, if you listened and you understood this shit, and you let these people spew this fucking garbage for 10 years, you should be pissed off too. Because maybe some of your friends didn't listen. They listened to the science guy with the PhD instead. They're 10 years behind you. You know what I mean? I would be pissed off if my friends were getting fucking taken advantage of too. Then these motherfuckers sell programs and books and all this other shit. You're not even helping people with the fucking things that are coming out of your mouth. What makes you think that that fucking book is any better than what came out of your mouth 10 years ago? Like, you're fucking learning as you go. Which means that we all get smarter as we get older. We all have wisdom, but when somebody says something, I go, well, that's interesting. And then I fucking research and then I look into it. And then I ask people, like, I never count anybody out because they don't have a degree. I don't even count them out because they do, because let's face facts. The ones that do are in that little box and they don't get results and they don't get what the other people do that don't have that fucking piece of paper. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is just, it's so fucking frustrating to be the person that constantly is literally putting out content. I make zero off of YouTube now. Like $200 a month. It's fucking shit. But I'm constantly out there making a fucking video a day for you guys, constantly trying to put out as much new information as I can so that you guys have it. And then you can go on your own and experiment, or you can go on your own and research more and figure out more shit. Well, these motherfuckers just sit back and wait for whoever says fucking something in the scientific community to say it. Then they go, yeah, blah, blah, they parrot it. And then they act like they're fucking, they know. And I'm like, you don't know. You didn't learn that. You fucking read it. It was fed to you. You regurgitated it. You spit it back out like a fucking parrot. Like, that doesn't mean you learn shit. It means you fucking understand how to memorize shit. But take all your books away, take all your fucking PhDs away, send you in the fucking gym with nothing, and say, get fucking 10 pounds of muscle in the next fucking year without gaining fat. Show me how to do it. Show me how to drop 20 pounds in a month without dropping body fat, without having to cut calories down to fucking nothing and kill the cardio. Show me how to do that. They can't do it. Why? Because they don't fucking understand it. They understand that little bit that comes up, builds builds up the rear. As we're already up here, they're fucking coming up here. Then we do this, they're here. It's a constant struggle for them to catch up. But the bottom line is, it's fucking real, and I'm seeing it, and I'm just like, fuck it. Why should I let it go? Part of me goes, go let it. Who cares, Jerry? Because listen, when I put something out, I want you to fucking research it. I want you to look at it. I want you to pay attention. Because I've been proven over and over, time after time, I sound like a fucking broken record, that these things work like this. And finally they agree. But now there will never be like Jerry was right, because then that would make them look stupid with their fucking PhDs and all the schooling, and stupid Jerry with a diploma figured it out. That'll never happen. BossChang@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BossChang.com is a blog. It's a fucking here we are, bicep again, and we are out.